hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Look who's haunting your screen now, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Brent Thomas. And you are watching the Paranormal Portal. And thank you so much for doing that on our special Halloween edition of the Paranormal Portal. And this is going to be a great time. Celebrating, of course, one of the most fitting holidays for the Portal to celebrate. And that is Halloween, or Samhain, or Samhain, or whatever you want to call it. But it's us. We're here, and so are a bunch of you already. So welcome everybody that are coming in the doors. We're glad to see you here. And by we, I don't mean just me. I mean also my firstborn child, the branch on the family tree. He is one and only.
Hello, everyone. Happy Halloween. Hope everybody's staying safe, staying warm out there in this chillier weather. How are you, Dad?
I'm good. I'm just trying to figure out why you're not on the screen. You should be. That's weird.
Huh. Oh, cool.
You're supposed to be on my screen now, but for some reason you're not.
I'm the invisible man today. That's what I'm dressed as.
You're invisible all over the place here. Very strange. Can you do me a favor? Let me just see if this will work. Hold on. Can you do me a favor and disconnect and reconnect? Because I want to see if this is going to work. Can you try that?
I can try that.
Okay.
I'll see you in a little bit, everyone.
I'll wait here. We'll all wait here, Sheldon.
Fantastic.
All right.
See you in a bit.
Thank you. We're just I want to be able to bring Sheldon up on the screen using this this setting that I should be able to use, and it should be functioning beautifully. It has in the past, but unfortunately right now it just decided to do something else. And so he's now back. Hopefully he can appear on the screen as well. Are you there, Sheldon?
I am here, but I don't see my face in the screen.
I don't either, which is really weird. I see you on my Skype screen, of course. I guess we can do it old-fashioned way. It's just unfortunate to have to do so because that means I'm going to have to cover you up a bunch. And this was working so well. I don't know where it went. I'm not sure what the hell happened.
Well, chat knows the deal. Whenever something happens, hashtag Don's fault. Okay.
Yeah, poor Don. He's not even here. But he's probably watching from home. He's been working on the new episode of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, which is a brilliant one all the same. And that one's going to be coming out later tonight as well. So you got that coming up the pipe as well on Halloween. But we got a whole bunch of fun lined up for you guys tonight. We're going to do it like a normal regular full show because it's Halloween. And I thought, I don't want to just do Halloween, the one night of all of the Paranormal Portal where we should be really rolling out the carpet. We should at least do a 2-hour show, especially in light of all my absences lately. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go for 2 full hours tonight. I hope you can stick with us and join us for the full run. If not, we understand. But I know Halloween's a busy night for a lot of people as well. So I don't know how many people are going to actually show up and take part of it. But we're gonna do as much as we can to entertain the hell out of you on this Halloween, and we're just absolutely thrilled you're here. So, excuse me. Without any further ado, Sheldon, what do you think? Are you all ready?
Oh, I'm always ready.
All right.
Excited to be here, ready to go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hang on because it's about to get spooky. All right, I just had an idea here to try something. I'm going to look at the properties here quick and just see what the hell is going on here. There you are.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll fill the air with Buzzacino's wonderful rhymes.
Please do.
Buzzacino says, spooks and spectacles, ghosts and goblins, and things that don't seem moral. Learn of these and so much more on the Paranormal
Portal.
Nice.
Yeah, that was good. That's really good. Thank you, Buzzacino. Good to see you all. Thank you all for joining us tonight on this special Halloween celebration. You're now on the screen as you're supposed to be. So looks good.
Hey, there I am.
There you are. And now you'll be on all the other screens as well, which will be perfect because I thought we would start out the night rolling some news. What do you think?
Oh, that's one of the best parts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do some of the news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. I'm your anchor, Brent Thomas, and my co-anchor, Sheldon, is here, and we are going to do our best to bring you a little bit of news. It's not a real full segment as normal, but we'll bring you as much as we can here. And the first one tonight, of course, most of these are coming from, or actually all of these on the news segment are coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. Definitely check out that site, ladies and gentlemen. It's a really cool site for lots of real quick format, paranormal themed, and also there's others, but there's a lot of paranormal articles on there. There's lots of astronomy, science. There's archaeology, there's bizarre, there's just got these great articles. And so it's a really wonderful site. I love it to pieces, and I encourage you guys to go check it out. And again, that's unexplained-mysteries.com. The first one tonight that we're going to cover here on the show is an article from there that actually has a video element that we're going to check out. I think it looks like actually it could have been a good trail cam terror. But it's coming from... it's unexplained-mysteries.com, and it's coming from looks like I think the UK is what this is, but I might be wrong. And it says mystery black, it's coming from the UK, I think. Mystery black creature caught on camera in Wales. Now, there's always been big cats claims up in the UK and also in Australia, and I don't know if those are actually paranormal in essence, because I think in a lot of cases those were probably, and this isn't unique to me, but I've heard this theory before and it makes the most sense to me. But there was a lot of period of time where some people would have exotic pets. And that would mean like lions and tigers and leopards and
bears.
Maybe even bears. But then a lot of laws were passed in these countries saying, no, you can't do that anymore. And so these owners of these animals, or these people that had these animals, in I guess what they thought was the best idea to come forward from it, decided, well, I can't have you, so go be free. They released them into the wilds of their respective countries. And I think that makes sense to me. That really makes sense. And that certainly, a lot of times we don't see these animals, like even in the U.S. where there are things like mountain lions and such, they're very, very, very rarely seen. But they are seen. And there are actually claims of mountain lions and such being, and cougars being present all across the United States, even though the official word is that no, they're not in all these other places. They're pretty much on the West Coast, and that's it. But I'm pretty sure they probably were hunted out of those areas, but have since remigrated over there and reestablished themselves in a lot of places where they're not supposed to be right now. Sorry, this is going to be an interesting night because, of course, being out in the cold air, trick and treating was probably did a number on me, but we'll see how I do. So I think that's probably what's going on in the UK. Is it's probably some formerly captive exotic pet that was freed, or some offspring of maybe a breeding pair, and you get these offshoots, hybrids maybe between like a tiger and a leopard or something like that. You never know. But at any rate, let's check it out. And the article says it helps if I scroll on the same page I'm trying to read, and then we'll check out the video. It says Woodland Trail Camera has captured footage of what some believe to be evidence of a panther on the loose. Is there a population of exotic big cats roaming the wilds of the British Isles? Some experts think that there is, and this latest piece of footage is being hailed as potential evidence of it. Filmed in woodland near Ruthin in North Wales, the short black and white clip was recorded back in August by a trail camera that had been set up to film deer and badgers. While the anomalous creature isn't particularly easy to make out, it does make a brief appearance in the top left of the frame at the beginning of the video before walking towards the left and out of sight. At first glance, it certainly does appear to resemble a large black cat, possibly a panther. The clip quickly gained attention after it was submitted to Puma Watch North Wales, a group that dedicates its efforts to documenting and investigating sightings of exotic big cats in the area. Big cats such as pumas are solitary with a hunting range of dozens of miles, said group founder Tony Jones. They've mostly spotted in Snowdonia and I don't know how to say this, Clwydian Hills maybe. But reports of sightings in urban locations some distance from these areas are becoming more frequent. There has, in fact, been an increase in the number of potential sightings of such creatures in recent months, especially in the area of North Wales in which this footage was recorded. Often referred to as the alien big cat, ABC phenomena, the most likely explanation of that animals have either escaped from zoos or have been illegally released by private owners. Exactly how many of them are still out there, however, remains unclear. So there you have it. Yeah, they actually repeated that sentiment, but I guess let's check out the clip and see what it has to say.
Yeah.
All right, you ready, Sheldon?
I'm ready.
Here we go. This might be hard to see with my cameras the way they are. Let me move myself down because apparently it's in the upper. Whoops, that's stupid. Upper, what? Right to left?
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to replay this, but so far I'm not really seeing anything.
Not yet.
I got nothing. Do you see anything?
It's... They said upper left, right?
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah. I don't see anything.
Nor do I. Let me go back and restart it here because they said right at the beginning of the clip. Let's see what we got here. Oh, there it is. Sure. It's right up in here. Okay, so let me back up here. You see where I'm circling? It's in this area.
Waiting for delay.
Okay.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here it goes.
Okay.
Starting it over.
Yep.
There it is. Yeah, that does look like more than just your average house cat at that distance. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big cat.
That is a big cat. Wow. I think, by Jove, I think they've finally captured something pretty concrete.
Gigi says it's a bear, so it's maybe it is a bear.
Of course it is. Everything's a bear to her. Yeah, I think that's probably pretty solid. Let's see that again. It's just about over there. And there it goes. Kind of gets up and starts moving. And you can actually see it break through the brush here and there on that whole journey, now that we know what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Isn't it bizarre, though, that it knows still? I mean, it's always in cover. These animals are so smart, and this is I think in a lot of cases, with a lot of the wild animals, they just always are in cover. There it goes between those, the V in those trees, and now it's finally going out of frame on the top right, or top left. Yep. There it went. Yeah, I think that might be the real deal.
At the distance, and with how big it is from that distance, I think you're right. I think it's a good capture.
I think it is, folks. So that may be some very concrete footage of a big cat in Wales, of all places. Wow.
Interesting. Wow.
Very interesting.
That's the power of instinct right there. That they know. They're not exactly taught. They're kind of taught by their parents, but I think instinct is one of the coolest things, that animals just know things.
Your what
just
instinct?
Being them.
Your what instinct?
Oh, you're funny. Okay. I see.
Sorry. That was so funny in my head. I'm sorry. That was just... I cracked myself up. Someone's got to do it. It might as well be me, right?
It's got to be you.
All right. Let's continue the journey and check out the next one here on the roster of fun of the Paranormal Portal News Desk. And let me close the ads that are running rampantly on this page.
Oh, before I forget, Buzzacino said that he sent a really cool video to you that could be a trail cam.
I did see that. I think that segment's probably going to be too long to be able to use, but I think we've actually featured that before, though, an actual still of that on the Trail Cam Terrors. But it's a really cool video. I could, on a future show, I will copy that link into the chat so other people can check it out, or Buzzacino, you can as well. But that was a really good video because there's many things on there that were really, really pretty wild and very interesting. So check it out. If you want, Buzzacino, just put that right in the chat. Or if you can't, maybe you can't. I don't know if you have to be in mod to do links or not. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's go to the next article. I'll try to dig it up maybe if we get a chance and post it in tonight's show. Sorry, I'm just still froggy. This is the next one from unexplained-mysteries.com, and this one is as follows. Let me reposition my camera now because I don't have to squeeze for that video segment. It says, COVID uncertainty fuels interest in the paranormal. Yes. Yeah. Now I know it's our time. I guess something good had to come out of this, folks. I'm just saying, it's just a little me party is all. No, I don't know. This whole period of a year and a half now has been absolute bizarro world. But I guess maybe some good things came of it, and no matter what, in looking at this whole debauchery or debacle, I guess is probably the best way to put it. I think it's important to try to find the positives, because we can all focus on the negatives all day long and make a laundry list from here until, to the moon of things that were not good about it. But there's some good about it. And maybe this is one of those things. There has been a recent rise in the number of people seeking out stories of ghosts and hauntings. Yes. Whoops, wrong one.
Yeah, that's the wrong one.
Sorry. I did a rim shot. The recent uncertainty and anxiety experienced by many due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic has had a rather unexpected side effect in the form of an increased interest in the paranormal. In the UK, TV and streaming shows centered around supernatural themes and plot lines, such as BBC comedy Ghosts and the Netflix series The Haunting of Bly Manor, have seen a considerable uptick of interest. Danny Robbins, the man behind the popular BBC podcast, The Battersea Poltergeist, believes that it is down to the chaotic, uncertain times we find ourselves in. It's the biggest question possible. Does something happen to us after we die? He told The Guardian. It's a trend, he argues, that has been seen before, in particular following traumatic events. You can draw a line between now and after the First and Second World Wars, when there was a boom in supernatural interest, and it was linked to people trying to process grief, chaos, and uncertainty, and organized religion couldn't fill that gap, he said. His drama/documentary about the Battersea Poltergeist, for instance, proved an unexpected hit. So much so, in fact, that it has since spawned a TV show and even a live national tour. Good for him. That's awesome. Anything and everything paranormal seems to be receiving more interest than it normally would. When we're losing people close to us, then that's the point we go reaching for ghosts, said Robbins. The stakes are much higher. It's something we all relate to, as we have skin in the game. We want to know if there's life after death. Yeah, I would say that's probably true. Certainly a lot of people have been touched very negatively by all these events, but losing those close to you really, I guess, really does make you pause and start that existential journey. What is next? And again, it's like we've talked about many times. I think it's the whole grieving process. These people we love are gone, and you're trying to understand what the hell's going on, and you hope they're okay. And that's why these, visitations and such after death, such as in dreams or whatever, or otherwise, have made such an impact on people, including myself, because it's just the knowing, hey, everything's okay. It's okay. The person that I care about is okay, and that's powerful and cathartic and wonderful. So there you have it. I guess that doesn't surprise me much. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat on the air, but I'd be muting myself all night if I didn't.
True.
True. Thanks, son.
You're welcome.
But I don't know. What do you think about that, Sheldon? Do you think that makes sense?
I think so, because it's kind of put society in. It kind of tests society in a sense, and I think it put a lot of people in a lot of dark places. And I think in those times we try to look at, like you said, what's next. So I think that makes perfect sense.
Indeed it does, because they were my words. Which always make perfect sense. In
short, I agree with you.
No, I think that's great. In short or in long, however you decide to deliver it. I think it's cool. But I don't think it's unique to this. It's just not. It's not only in times of crisis. I think that people are looking, like, it doesn't have to be a global situation, but I certainly suppose you'd see the needle move a lot more during a situation where many people are impacted rather than just personal impacts here and there.
Yeah.
But very cool. I think that there's merit to that. And not only that, but I think there's another video coming up on this one. This one I wanted to show on last night's show, but I couldn't because, of course, we were linked to the network, and I can't really play video elements with the shows when we're on the network because the network is audio only. And while we enjoyed a video, the people on the network could have enjoyed dead air. So this will be a perfect time to unleash this one. And this is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com, and the article is Leaked Clip Shows Canadian Cops UFO Encounter. I saw this one on the roster, and I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. But obviously I couldn't play it, but I'm really thrilled that we can tonight. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a video at the end of this. We'll see what it looks like. An intriguing report details the case of a police officer who encountered something unusual over in the sky over Canada. According to a report filed with the Civil Aviation Daily Occurrence Reporting System, man, I love big acronyms. What the hell? or CADORS.
Okay. All right.
The incident occurred on April 24th, 2011 in the vicinity of Selkirk, Manitoba. The witness is a Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, officer who had been driving in his cruiser when he spotted something moving across the high sky just up ahead. Selkirk RCMP reported an unidentified bright yellow and orange light traveling west to east just north of Selkirk, Manitoba on April 24th. 24th? What the hell's 21st?
Yes, that sickness affected more than just your voice.
Okay. I'm better now. At 2:15 a.m. Local, the report states. They also advised that they have a video recording of the object. A New Canada review of radar data indicates a perimeter metro aircraft crossed approximately 8 miles northwest of the time of the report, climbing up to 17,000 feet. RCMP advised that they are familiar with the metro aircraft and stated this was not an aircraft. Service report was filed with NORAD. The video footage, which was acquired at the time by Canadian ufologist Chris Rutkowski, has since been obtained by Motherboard and has been posted on YouTube. So this must come courtesy of Motherboard. Okay. It shows a bright light moving across the sky from left to right across the frame in the early hours of the morning. You can check out the clip for yourself below. The Catters report can be viewed here. Well, as much as I'd love a good Catters report, I think we'll just go to the video. What do you think, Sheldon?
I think so too.
All right, I'm going to pull up this screen so I can keep an eye on how this video is going to be framed by the cameras on screen. But here we go.
I have a feeling we're going to want to be looking at the sky.
Ooh, good call. There's no wonder why you're on this show.
Yeah.
Even my Homer's a little screwed up tonight, isn't it?
A little bit.
All right, so here you go. Have a look at it. Oh, there's even sound. Ooh. There it is, folks, right there. Yeah, that is weird. It almost looks like it's bobbing up and down, doesn't it? Like it's going.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? No, it
I
looks
do see that.
He's aiming that camera too. He knows.
Oh yeah, he's seeing it.
He's zooming badly though. What the hell's that? Wow, do you hear that noise?
I do. Well, that might be on his end.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but it's very peculiar. That was it. Wow. Excuse me, hold on. That's pretty wild. I got to admit, that's a pretty darn good video.
Gee, God.
What, is it a bear?
Gee, space bear.
Jesus. Somebody get her medication. Time for your pills.
It's always a space bear. Mm-hmm.
I think that was a good video, though. I think it's pretty solid. You know, it doesn't look like a normal aircraft for sure. It just has that motion, like it was going like this, like, and maybe it was just the changing lights give it that impression. It possibly was a clear trajectory, but it just with that changing of lights, it looked like it was kind of hopping along, you know?
Yeah, it was interesting.
To me, it was very interesting. But let's check out what's next. That's not a bear either. I'm just going to put that out here early and just say whatever's next is not a bear. So,
hey, Gigi, one of these times she's going to be right on the money.
It could happen. I'm just going to leave that alone. Because everybody has a right to their opinions, of course.
Absolutely.
Let's see what's next. Oh, this is another one. I think this one's a video as well. I pulled up as many videos as I could because I thought, wow, this is a perfect night to talk about some videos. So let's do that. And the next,
is it a full moon tonight?
I don't believe so. It wasn't last night. I mean, it wasn't even close last night. So It was like
I just haven't looked recently.
Unless I saw a UFO last night. I woke up at like 2 and looked out the window and saw the sliver moon or the crescent moon. But I don't expect that it is. Somebody will have to let me know. But I never know when that stuff's coming up unless it's like, oh, stay tuned for the blue moon. Because I always know that when those are coming up, those are horrible for me generally. All right. Unexplained-mysteries.com, folks, brings us another one. Meet Scary Mary, the UK's most haunted doll. You heard it right, Scary Mary. That's cute. A man who owns a haunted museum in England maintains that one of his exhibits is very much the real deal. There is something inherently creepy about old dolls, with their dead eyes, fixed expressions, and vintage clothing, leading many to associate them with spirit possession and paranormal activity. That was just my last episode of the podcast, was haunted dolls. Movies such as Chucky and Annabelle, which feature haunted and even killer dolls, certainly haven't helped to dissuade such impressions. And there's even a market for vintage haunted dolls that sees some people make considerable sums of money selling them to collectors on eBay. One such collector, Craig Longson, claims to own the single most haunted example of in the entire UK, a particularly creepy-looking doll known as Scary Mary. Owner of a haunted museum in Stoke-on-Trent, Longson appeared on an episode of British TV show This Morning earlier this week to talk about the doll and his experiences with it. Excuse me. As soon as we had her, she started being active in our room, he told hosts Holly Willoughby and David Schofield. She's been seen many times on CCTV where the chair has spanned from side to side. The chair has rocked, her eyes have moved, and she's thrown herself off the chair on 2 different occasions. She lights up lights around the equipment sometimes that she likes to play with. Some of the museum's visitors have also experienced something unusual while being around the doll. We've had 4 members of the public on a tour here, and she was actually on the table in the center of the room, and she was rocking in front of them, said Longson. Yeah, that's not what you want from your dolls. No. Another 3 ladies were having a tour, and they actually witnessed her eyes move all the way over to the right. She's amazing and a great artifact, and one of the best I've had in all my years of doing this. You can check out the full interview as well as some footage on the doll in action below. The actual footage of the doll doing something creepy is. I'm going to just kind of scan through this because we can't watch a 7-minute clip. Okay, here comes the clip right here.
I like that guy's mustache.
It's like a head stash. It's like goes right from his sideburns to his nose.
The face stash. Okay, I love his face stash.
Face stash. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, let's go here. Here's the actual. Looks like actual. Okay. I don't know. Are her eyes painted, or are they just the socketed glass balls, or what? I don't know what we're looking at here, but I'm just going to see if there's any more footage. That was the footage of her rocking, apparently. I don't know. I guess what I'll do, that looks like that was the only actual footage recorded of her doing something, and it's hard to tell. I mean, she's on this pedestal. There could be any number of ways to scam it. And I'm not trying to say this guy is scamming, but I just, always whenever you see stuff like this, look at it through the eyes of a skeptic because, it's hard to know if it's legit or not. But I'll put the link to this into the chat, and you guys can check out the full interview whenever you want, but I can't cover the whole thing here on the show.
I mean, the one thing that kind of makes me think is that if it's haunted to the point where you're able to profit off of it, I wonder about it.
Yeah, and that's a good point because, this guy obviously has the business of doing this. And,
yeah.
And you're right. It makes you wonder, like, okay, well, of course you're motivated to have a haunted doll. And, would you also be motivated then to just throw a little trickery in there just for entertainment purposes? And that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. But there you have it, folks. Scary Mary. And, if I'm just looking at the eyes, trying to see. I don't know. It looks like the glass eyes, but apparently somebody saw them rotate from one side to the other and then back or something.
And it's possible it happened. Like, it's one of the, it could have happened, but
sure.
Maybe it was a one-off occurrence and then it never happened again. And he decides to pry. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's anybody's guess, folks, but that's Scary Mary. And I think I got maybe 2 more yet to go. It's taken a while here, but I'm having a good time with these. So Hope you
I'm
guys
having
don't
fun.
mind. Good. Well, let's see what we got here. This one is having to do with ghosts, of all things, which is
No way.
I'm just saying it says ghosts, so let's see what it has to say, folks. And this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Ghost hunter claims angry ghost whooshed through him. Yeah, when they whoosh through you, that's that's tough. A paranormal investigator was left with what he described as a paranormal hangover after the incident. Tony Ferguson and his wife had been investigating Fort Widley near Portsmouth, England, a reportedly haunted facility built 150 years ago on October 16th when the encounter happened. Designed to protect the city from attack, the structure saw use during both World Wars before eventually being turned into an equestrian center in the 1990s. It also serves as a popular destination for paranormal investigators. Sorry about that. Deep beneath the ground in the fort's old coal tunnels, Tony recalls calling out into the gloom in the hope of receiving a response. Anyone need help? Are you lost? Are you trapped? To his surprise, someone or something did respond. In reply, I repeatedly heard, "Get out! Leave!" Oh, Jesus, that'd be horrible, he said. That was my interjection. That's not the horrible part was mine. I heard both a man's and woman's voice. They really didn't want anybody there. Then suddenly at the end of the tunnel, I saw a big mass of fog shooting down towards me. It lit up. I started to retreat, running back down the tunnel, managing somehow to turn around. And then I felt a whooshing sound. And when the spirit went past and I could feel it go straight through me. Afterwards, I felt completely drained for the next few days. It was like a paranormal hangover. Tony maintains that he has always been something of a magnet for ghosts, having had numerous paranormal experiences throughout his life. Even as a child, he recalls hearing or encountering a ghost in his grandmother's kitchen when he was only 3 years old. It used to happen often when I was left alone, he said. My grandmother would go off and do something, and the figure would appear. He would walk into the room, and I would just start crying as I was scared. He looked like someone from the 1900s, and we reckon now it was my granddad's dad. Huh. That's the end of the article. It's a weird place to end it, but at any rate, You don't want to get whooshed, Sheldon.
No, otherwise they'll go into a spiritual hangover. Nice.
It's the spirit flu instead of the bottle flu. It's the spirit flu.
The spirit flu.
Yeah, poor guy. He got whooshed. There you have it. I guess that's, of course, maybe that was the intent, that it wanted to draw off his energy, and so it just whooshed him, and maybe that's what it did.
I mean, I swear if I've heard of a story like that where there was an encounter with a ghost and afterward he just felt exhausted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. So, I mean,
yeah.
I'm inclined to believe it because of these, I guess, two stories that I've now heard of.
Well, there are things that exist to us spiritually, but they're not really ghosts in the traditional sense. They're something else, but they're regarded as like energy vampires. Now, there's people that are energy vampires, and there's apparently spiritual entities that are energy vampires as well, where they draw energy out of people. And there's some of them have reports of pinning the person down, doing the whole old hag syndrome. It's like sleep paralysis. People wake up to being pinned down, and this cronish woman sucking something from them out of their mouths. So it'd be really close to their face and go, and they can feel getting weaker and weaker as this is happening. Like this entity is drawing life force or energy or whatever out of them, and it's just creepy.
Sounds like a dementor.
It really does, doesn't it? It does sound like of course, the Dementors from Harry Potter, but whatever the hell they are, that's creepy stuff. But there are the claims or the idea behind those, or at least ideas that people have, is that these are a lower vibrational kind of entity, and they aren't attached to the universal web of life or whatever, and so they have to subsist as almost like a parasite, going around and drawing energy wherever they can. So maybe there's truth to that.
Something I've always wondered, and your description of those entities reminded me of it, was, I know that's the point, is that we don't know. Okay. But how do we even know that description is even remotely correct?
Well, that's my question. We only know that as people have shared their experiences. I mean, whatever people experience, whatever they see. So we have anecdotal evidence in that form where people said, this is what happened, this is what I saw, this is how I felt. And so, of course, enough people make a claim similar to each other, then you have a pattern, and you can try to draw an idea from that. But again, what do we really know about anything, really?
Oh, true. I mean, if you consider that everything we're seeing is just how our brain is processing all the information, it may not even be that we're seeing and feeling and touching, but that's just how we experience the outside world. Yeah. It can go pretty deep, I understand.
Yeah. So therein lies the problem of, so any of this stuff is just people's thoughts, people's reflections for the most part. But there is the fact that people do experience similar events, and therefore, when you have those similarities and commonalities, you can try to draw at least a behavioral analysis of what's going on and try to piece together motivation and other factors of what could be causing all of this to go on. So, I mean, it's just our attempt to understand the unexplained,
Yeah. Yeah.
But, all right, let's go to the next and last article on our news tonight. This is from unexplained-mysteries.com. FedEx pilots filmed UFO that followed their plane. You heard me right, folks. FedEx pilots filmed the UFO that followed their plane. This is a cargo plane reportedly encountered a mysterious object during a routine flight over Mexico last year. According to reports, the incident, which took place on March 19th, 2020, involved two pilots who had been flying near Monterey, and they had encountered a pulsating orb. The unidentified object dropped down from above and matched their altitude before flying alongside the airplane for about 30 minutes. While the pilots have not been named, one was understood to be a career pilot with 19 years of experience, while the second was a veteran fighter pilot who had previously flown F-15s. They have been described as competent airmen, highly experienced with observing and identifying aircraft, and are capable of determining normal observations and incidents from unusual ones. According to the reports, the National Aviation Reporting Center on Anomalous Phenomena, or NARCAP, love those acronyms, the plane had departed Querétaro International Airport and was on its way to Memphis, Tennessee when the sighting occurred. The first officer had initially believed the object to be a meteor until it matched the plane's speed and altitude, indicating that it was under some sort of an intelligent control. The captain described the UFO as a brilliant yellow-white plasma object, teardrop shape, and the two men actually managed to capture around 5 minutes of footage of the object, which also features their dialogue at the time of the sighting. NARCAP Executive Director Ted Rowe, found the incident particularly intriguing. We have a database going back to 1916, he said. It describes 4 basic types of UAP encounters, and they are balls of light, spheres, cylinders, and disks. I went through the analysis, and there was some argument that it could have been an astronomical effect. Venus was quite bright that night, but when you take the entire narrative of how they describe, it dropped in vertically, stopped at their altitude, and then paced their aircraft. That is a very consistent story. We've had many of those. They flew northbound out of Querétaro Airport. Venus was quite high in the western sky at that point and bright, but they were all well aware of it. You can view the video footage for yourself here. And they're going to make me go to a here. Okay. I'm going to roll the dice on this, folks. Let's see where here is. It's the Daily Mail. Oh, thank you, Daily Mail. I don't see any commercial pilots, UFO. How long is this? 446. Come on, I can't show 446. No, we're going to have to skip that part. But again, I'll put a link to that in the description or into the chat. And if any of you are interested in checking out that video, please feel free to do so.
Yeah.
But we can't keep, playing extended videos for our show because they're from somebody else's show, and that's not fair. So
true.
We can only share up to a certain point. So, but what can I say, ladies and gentlemen? This has been a production of the Paranormal Portal News. We hope you've enjoyed this so far, and we have a lot more coming up here. So stick with us. This has been the news. The news is now over. Ending the news. Well, there you have it, folks. That was the Paranormal Portal News. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I love doing that. That darn news stuff, Sheldon.
Yeah, that was like about almost an hour-long news session.
Was it really?
Yeah.
It really was.
It's almost 10.
Sorry about that. I was just having a good time with it.
No, it was fun. I have no complaints.
Well, good. I'm glad because, you wouldn't be on the show much longer.
True. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We got a bunch of other paranormal stuff to get to. The nice thing about tonight is we don't have to worry about breaks, so the time is ours. We can spend it however we choose to. One of the ways I want to spend it is to revisit the article we were going through last night with Don and I, and there's some creepy stuff kids are saying. And if you guys weren't here last night, definitely watch last night's show again. I don't know, these kids. Some of these kids are certifiable, and like
it was actually hilarious.
Oh, but I mean, didn't you agree? Like some of it was like, ooh. I mean, if you knew a kid that said these things, wouldn't you be like, this is time for counseling?
Yeah, well, some of the things that were being said, it's like, oh God,
intervention.
Like the kid was asking, like if it's something about hurting people or killing, I don't know, something like that.
Oh yeah,
it was something like really creepy. Like there was like, oh okay,
yeah. There was many of those. And just some very disturbing things. And the little kid pulling the tube out of the liver of the mom because daddy's giving to the mom too much attention. Yeah, but they regarded it as a cute thing because the kid was cute. Well, I don't care how cute you are. That's like serial killer 101 right there in the cooking. That's not good. But anyway, there was a bunch of those, and we got a bunch more of them. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to look for that article right now. Where the hell is it? Let's see. I got to remember where the hell it was. I pulled up new stuff now, so I'm kind of lost.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is not it. No, that is not it. So this is it. Okay. So this is from moneymade.com, and it's actually, as far as I can tell, just an aggregated article, and it's aggregated from Reddit threads and such, talking about comments kids made, and it's a good article. But we're on number 41 now, and just stay tuned. These get so creepy. You won't believe this. It's perfect for Halloween. But it's just thinking that these kids are like this all year round is also disturbing. You really hope they outgrow it, because if they don't, oh my God.
Yeah.
Number 41, when reality and belief collide. My almost 2-year-old was in a room chattering to himself before his nap. I was listening to him in the monitor, and he was saying things like, oh, I think I read this one last night. Oh, yeah, I did. I read that one last night. So we're on number 42, rather. Sorry. I guess I could reread it because I already started it. My almost 2-year-old was in his room chattering to himself before his nap. I was listening to him on the monitor. He was saying things like, I'm sleeping, Grandma. Okay, Grandma, etc. I went in to try to reset him so he'd fall asleep. He did, by the way, and asked, who is he talking to? And he said, Grandma. I asked, Grandma V? My mother-in-law's grandparent name. And he said, no, not Grammy, Grandma. I gave him a confused look, and he clarified, Grandma Baba. My mother's name was Barbara, and she had been dead for 8 years at this point, and my son had never heard me referred to her before. I was oddly not freaked out, though. It does screw a little bit with my atheist outlook. That was by Anchored to Hope.
As it should.
You better hope it was Grandma Barbara. Not Grandma Satan. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's just oftentimes I'm a firm believer that we definitely have ghostly presences and ghostly visitations, spiritual visitations from loved ones and stuff. But I also do consider the possibility that what if it's not who you think it is at all? Case in point, a lot of the children ghosts, that people talk about, these children ghosts, and they start out with children and then they end up with exorcisms and all kinds of problems. It's like it was never a kid, but it appears as a kid. And that's a very predatory behavior, I think, that demons or other dark entities use, is because if you're a normal person, if you're a decent normal person, you are nearly genetically encoded to want to help children. So if something wants to get through your defenses in a big hurry and get you to let your guard down and expose yourself, appearing as a child would be a very quick way to do it. I mean, it's just, it's actually diabolically brilliant when you think about it, but it's really cringy as well. So whenever I hear there was this little girl spirit or something, I'm always like, oh, are you sure? Because, I'm just saying, I've heard so many stories where that's not at all what they ended up dealing with, but they thought it was a little cute little child spirit that was just lonely and wanted to be, part of the family. So, number 42, something to remember you by. My son has made many comments about his plans of keeping my body when I die. I've considered specifically putting info into the will to make sure it doesn't ever happen. That's by Calgary Chris 77. Yeah, you won't want your kid running around with like a foot bracelet or something.
Oh God. Can I keep your body when you die?
I know. Well, I'm sure things like that are just this cute, beautiful innocence. It's like, I just want to be able to hug you whenever,
Yeah, that's probably what they're going for.
It does also have a really creepy undertone to it. So, number 43, late night visitor. My 3-year-old, while eating dinner, told me there was a man on the balcony with red eyes and his mouth gaping open, like a scream face. We live on the 3rd floor, and the only access to that balcony is from inside. Needless to say, I didn't turn around. He said so many weird things. We live in a really, really old apartment, and I don't believe in ghosts, but he creeps me out. He's also mentioned a little boy upside down scratching at the ceiling, just casually like it's nothing. In the meantime, I'm going to poop my pants. By forever_pancakes.
Forever pancakes, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt kids see stuff. They do see a lot more than we do, especially in terms of the spiritual presences. But yeesh. Number 44, past life horrors. This one actually just happened with my 4-year-old a week ago or so. I woke up to her laying in the hallway, whimpering and crying while still asleep. I woke her up and put her back to bed, and I asked if she had a bad dream. Barely awake, she said, "No, I remembered. Before I was born here, I was a really bad dog, and they made me go to sleep." And then started crying and saying she didn't want to remember it. When I asked the next morning, she said the same thing and got visibly upset again. I even have the audio of her starting to tell me the story, getting upset, and then changing the topic. Leather and lead. Now that's an interesting thing. So some beliefs around the world believe that there is not only reincarnation, but that our reincarnation may take many forms, and some forms would be animal to human to insect to fish to any number of forms of life. And I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I guess it stands to reason, but does it as well? I don't know. Are we are we a unique kind of spirit in and of ourselves, or are we the same energetic spiritual light that everything else is? And I guess we probably are the same as everything else is, but I guess it's hard to imagine. But
I mean, for me, I personally believe reincarnation is a thing, just based upon those specific stories of like these little toddler kids having an elaborate story of how they're in their past life they were in a war or whatever, and they got
right.
whatever happened to them. It's like how does a little kid come up with like this elaborate story on their own? Like,
oh, sure. I mean, there's kids that have talked about being in war, like World War II, flying and being able to describe the plane and their friends and stuff. And there's children that are born remembering the village they lived in and can, remember family names and stuff, and even recognize them on sight when they've been brought to meet them and stuff. And so there's definitely merit to that, that very well might be a possibility. I tend to believe it as well, but I also don't pretend to know anything for sure because,
oh yeah,
we're all on this journey together. But when it comes to the whole did a person used to be an animal thing, and I don't know if it's my own hubris or whatever, but I always think, well, I mean, certainly, animals are much more pure than we are as humans. I mean, they can be bastards and stuff too, but generally speaking, they are creatures of their nature, but we as humans tend to be so multifaceted or multi-layered, and I don't know, maybe that doesn't make sense. Now that I vocalize it and talk about it, it's like, yeah, I mean, we certainly could. We could be from the same stuff as all other life. We're just a different manifestation of it currently. But
here's a crazier thought.
What?
Is who says we have to reincarnate or we were anything on Earth?
Yeah, well, there is that. I mean, there's certainly, if you believe that life is universal, then we could be life anywhere, I guess.
Anywhere. It's
kind of mind-numbing once you start flexing it to that level. It's like, oh my God, it just, the twists and the turns and the possibilities. Yeah. And believe what you want to believe. As always, I don't pretend to I don't pretend that anybody should believe anything that I believe, but I just think it's fun to discuss. So here's the next one, number 45, Meet Me in the Meadow. I was about 4. One night, my mom woke up to the sound of our front door opening and closing. She grabs a knife and goes out to investigate, and she sees me walking barefoot out towards the logging road. She runs outside and grabs me and asks me what I think I'm doing, and I told her, I have to go visit my friends. My mom asked, what? What friends? And I said, my new friend. They told me to meet them in the meadow. I ended up explaining to my mom that my new friends can talk to me without being near me. They don't wear clothes, that they want to take me on a trip. Since this happened, I have learned that there have been several cases of mutilated cattle over the years, and if you ask the right questions to the right people, loads of stories of lights in the sky and strange figures and what have you. My grandma refused to ever talk about the night. All I know is that the cattle were mutilated. My grandma cried if you brought it up, and my grandpa would not let anyone talk about it in his presence. Since then, I've seen some pretty strange stuff out on the farm, and I do remember needing to meet my friends in the meadow. Wow. Whoa.
Interesting.
Epic Normalcy wrote that one. That is really bizarre.
We have a question from chat.
Do we? Let's hear it.
Angel Padgett. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly.
Padgett.
I'm sorry? Padgett?
Padgett.
Padgett. Okay.
Probably.
I hope so. Otherwise, I apologize. But she says, she says, hi, I have a question. A couple of years ago, I was woken up by the sound of furniture sliding around, and within a minute, I was pinned to my bed, and a big guy with a creepy smile walked to me and touched my leg. I don't know what it was, but it scared the crap out of me. Yeah. He was wearing a plaid shirt and had blue class ring on his hand. He was in his 60s.
Wow. Yeah, That's really bizarre. Now I know that there's some people in the paranormal world that like to attribute this what did she what kind of shirt was it? Plaid shirt. I don't know if that's the same thing or not.
Or plate.
No, plaid is right, but I'm trying to remember. There's some kind of shirt that a lot of people witness apparitions in, and so they think that it's a different kind of entity altogether. I'm not so convinced of that. I think that spirits appear probably in whatever way they want to. So what they're wearing, I don't think is as important. I don't know. That's very strange. It would sound like there's some presence either attached to you or to the property or something. It almost sounds like a territorial thing though. Like, what are you doing here? For some reason this happened and it was like trying to freak you out. Perhaps a former occupant, perhaps a former owner of the property or whatever. I don't know if you live in an apartment or what, but he had white pointy hair like a clown. So what do you mean, like Rick and Morty, kind of like that white hair, just kind of wild, or what do you mean? What is white pointy hair?
Like to the sides?
I don't know. That's why I'm looking for that information. Yeah. Flannel man, thank you, Rachel. That's what I was looking for. And so flannel man is this idea that some people have that it's because there's this male looking apparition that always appears in flannel, that it's its own thing. And I don't think so at all. In fact, I don't believe in that. I think that people are seeing these apparitions, and I think they're seeing them in flannel shirts. But I think that probably is more a reflection of what that person may have worn in their life. Like that was how they like to be dressed. That was comfort for them. And so I don't think that it's a whole different phenomena in and of itself. But the plaid is a different one, though. That's when I first heard you read that. I was thinking of flannel man, and I was like, well, is that one of those cases? But no, it was flannel. You're right, Rachel. Thank you so much.
She says, I think it was the property because I only saw it once.
Oh, okay. Okay, so if it didn't repeat, then it's just you're just in that place. I don't know.
Territorial type of sign.
It's just an attachment probably to the area, and it's hard to say. I mean, just from that little anecdote, it's hard to know. There's a million questions and a million things that would have to be looked into to see what you were dealing with. But if it's not something that repeats, I would probably write it off as, the stars aligned right that night, and this presence woke up and decided to just make itself known. But if it's not something that's repeating or escalating, then I think you're probably fine. But, make statements like, hey, this is my place. I pay for it. You're not paying to be here anymore. If you want to be here, be peaceful, loving, and fine. But if you're hurtful and negative or energy and mean harm, then you need to leave. And if I can't make you leave, I will bring people here that can, And a lot of times, 90+% of the time, people in negative situations with negative hauntings report that once they claim stand their ground and claim their turf, then that negative behavior usually stops. But if it doesn't,
getting angry helps too, because it's an empowering emotion.
In China, they would agree with you. I mean, I don't know that matters or not, but maybe it does. The important thing is that you feel empowered. If you need anger to feel empowered, then draw on that anger as your strength. But I don't think it's necessary to make those statements angrily, or anyway, just mean them. It's the important thing is that you make those statements with the conviction of your heart. Like, I mean this. You need to go. Like if you're telling somebody to get the hell out of your house, like they're breaking furniture and stuff and causing problems, then you kick them out. Get out. You don't have to be pissed at them. You just got to need to want them gone, and you got to mean it. So it's all that. You got to have faith in it, faith in what you're saying. What did Patty say? Because somebody said, Patty, that's horrifying. Whereas in the chat, Patty Joy, I was attacked by a rake-like creature in my bedroom a few times when I was 4. Tried to convince myself it was a sleep paralysis. Patty, was there any marks from that? Did you have any physical marks from that or anything after that happened? And I'm not saying that means it was real or not. It could be real either way. But I'm just curious if it was more of a spiritual manifestation or if it was indeed a physical creature or what. So I'm curious to hear.
While we're waiting for that answer, someone asked, Cannabis Resolution asked, Happy Halloween. Do you think the spirits or other entities usually utilize the Gregorian calendar?
I don't.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it matters. I think that spirits see what we exist in a state of time and marking time, and so we need calendars and stuff like that. But one thing that has been done as and acted as a calendar even in the ancient days was the solstices, the cycles. And we used those as a measurement and probably built calendars around those. And those are, of course, those are energetic fluxes as well as, seasonal changes and any number of things that, the tilt of the earth and stuff. And so all of those became measurements that we call a calendar now. But I think that when you're in a spirit form, you probably don't need a calendar. You just, react more energetically to what's going on around you. I would assume. Again, it's me guessing, throwing an idea out there, but I don't believe that, those kind of dates are only important probably because they do have global ramifications, not only in our calendar world, but in the in the natural world as well. So I think that that's probably more of it than a calendar event. That's my 2 cents anyway.
Patty says, no, it was on top of me. I put the covers up over me while it yelled at me. It came from the closet.
Oh, see, that's closets. Closets are often portals or are often act as portals in certain situations. If it's something that occurs over and over, you might want to look into having somebody help you look into that possibility. The whole portal thing is really creepy, and it doesn't mean your closet's always a portal. It just means that it can act as that space can be utilized as a portal in certain times or events. And there are people that claim to be able to help close those kind of things and to seal them. Again, a portal can be open, but it can also be closed. And so you might want to look into whatever your faith is. If you're a Christian, then try to find a religious figure that will come in and bless that space and sanctify it in your belief. If you're Muslim, Hindu, whatever, Buddhist, however you want to address it. But if you're more pagan, there's a number of different approaches to that kind of stuff. But again, the practice isn't as important as the faith in it is. So those things can all be changed. But yes, closets are creepy. I think if I was ever building a house from scratch, I would just put drawers in walls here and there. I'd just skip the whole closet thing because nope.
Yeah, that's fair. Rachel actually brought up a good point. Some human spirits may manifest on anniversaries important to them in life, perhaps.
Absolutely.
That's a good
because that's an energetic event for them then, and it correlates with the whole, energetic events of the natural rhythm. So there's certain, key points for all of us, like I might love, May the 1st, but other people might be like, well, it doesn't mean anything to me. But to me, that's an important event. Now, it's also the holiday of Beltane in paganism, but to me, it's important because it's my birthday. So I might end up showing up then. Just saying, in the future when my days are done, that to me would be an important day.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Android.
Good point.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Android Purity asks, do you happen to know how/when murders became part of Halloween? It was originally purely spiritual. Was it, I guess Hollywood did that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's so the whole Samhain festival is about, well, at least a big part of it, historically. I mean, it's been co-opted by, any number of different things, but the belief is that the veil is thinnest. It's, between this world and the next. And so maybe it's also been historically attributed to the dead walking the earth and all of this stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's perfect Hollywood fodder for creating movies and sensational events. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of just one of those quote unquote dark holidays, but that's only from a certain perspective. I don't think that it's dark at all. It's just it's just a different energy. Again, we're talking energy.
That's right.
Yes, indeed. I don't know. And again, please don't take my word for it. These are just my thoughts, and for whatever they're worth. I mean, I certainly believe what I'm saying, or at least the ideas that I'm coming up with, but it doesn't mean I'm right. So don't bother sending me emails going, man, you are so wrong because this, and this. I mean, I could be, and I can be for you, but I can still be right for me.
True. We could both be absolutely nuts.
What do you mean could?
Oh, true.
Thank you. Oh yeah. But I love me some talking and throwing ideas around. So yeah, keep the questions coming, folks. Those are great.
Yeah, that's great.
Number 46 on our list, cutting wake-up call. I had chronic pain even as a baby, which sucked for my mom, as between the hours of 6 and 7 p.m. I would cry for an hour solid. Anyway, this stopped after I turned 3, returned again at around 10. I was about 6 years old, and in my sleep, I walked downstairs and grabbed a knife from the kitchen top, because apparently that's what a child does when sleepwalking, ? I walk into my mom's room and let out a blood-curdling scream, and then proceeded to stab the bed, not even a few inches from my mom's head, and upon her waking, I proceeded to laugh and say, "Silly, Mommy, I was a very weird child." Yes, you were. That's very disturbing. I don't even know how to say that name. Quaitant yet? I don't know.
We can't see it.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
It's not up on the screen, just so you know.
Let's just do this. Sorry. That was by Quaitant yet. There it is.
They were looking at our beautiful mugs while you're reading that.
The whole time? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that wasn't disappointing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant to go back to the 3-camera view, but there you have it. Number 47, premeditated murder. Ooh, this one's weird. I once saw a little kid jotting some stuff down in a little black book. Me. What are you writing there? Little boy with a blank stare on his face. I'm adding you to my death list. And that was the end of that conversation.
That sounds like from Death Note.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Oh, that anime?
You may have been parodying it. I don't know. I don't know the background, but again, it's possible.
These are all aggregated from Reddit, so I don't, many of them are probably not true, but it's hard to know. Again, Makes Games submitted that one. Oh, thank you, Android.
Thank you, Android.
Thanks for the extra hour tonight, guys. Yeah, of course, because we gotta celebrate Halloween here on the portal. I mean,
what kind of a portal would we be if we didn't give more to the community on Halloween?
We'd be the suck portal.
Yeah, true.
That sounded totally wrong, didn't it?
Whoa. Yeah, it did. Yep.
Thank you.
Don's not here. It's got to be you that's dirty.
Thanks. I don't even know why that's got to be, but anyway. Wow.
Andrew says thanks again.
Yeah, thanking us again, brother. Thank you. That's really sweet. Thank you so much. That goes a long way to help the portal. We appreciate your kindness, brother. Number 48, retreat. My 3-year-old daughter was going through the monsters under her bed phase. It lasted for weeks, and it was really wearing on her mom and me. And one night after Mom tried to put her to bed, she tagged me in. About 30 minutes, after 30 minutes, I grew pretty frustrated. In a last-ditch attempt, I promised my daughter that there weren't any monsters under her bed. She replied, I know. Now they're behind you. After that, I let her sleep with us for a week. Yeah, like the groundhog was who wrote that one.
Time to leave.
It's time to sleep in our bed now. Come, child. Daddy wants to snuggle. That didn't sound right either, did it? All right.
We need to get that filter back up. What happened?
I got sick, and all of a sudden everything just fell. What the hell? Number 49, frighteningly accurate. My dad watches My dad watched his mother die of a ruptured gallbladder when he was 12.
Oh, no.
And still remembers it vividly. My sister one day randomly gets up almost an hour after she's gone to bed and goes up to him. The conversation went like this. My sister, Daddy, your mommy died in a red sweater, jeans, sneakers, and with her hair in a ponytail, right? And her hair was blonde? Dad drops the book he's reading and stares wide-eyed, and then says, yes. Sister, what color were her eyes? Dad, blue. Why? Oh, she doesn't have them anymore. Just empty sockets. I was curious. And she goes right back to bed.
Okay.
Yikes.
Okay.
That was by Jim Parsons Rocks. Yeah, that's creepy as hell.
Prayers to you, Jim Parsons Rocks.
Yeah, no kidding. Number 50, I just let it go. I don't know. This is one sentence. We'll see what it says. I want to watch Frozen, but only the parts where the parents die in the shipwreck. My kid.
Okay.
It's my favorite part.
Kids just say the darndest things.
Yeah, darndest.
God.
Number 51, medical drama. Well, maybe we should stop here and we go to a different one, huh? What do you think?
Wait, what does it say? Medical drama?
No, I mean, it's not because of the next story. I'm just thinking, well, we can go on to something else because we're chewing through the night. We're at 8:21. And
Wow, time's flying.
I know, right? What the hell, folks? It's the way that paranormal works. We're in a wormhole of some kind. Let's look at this article. And you might know this one, Sheldon.
Oh, okay.
This is one that actually Sheldon found and said, hey, you guys ever covered this on the show? And I said, no, I don't believe we have. And this is from Reader's Digest / Ghost Stories.
Oh, yeah.
From readersdigest.com or rd.com. And it was from September 15th, 2021, written by Lauren Kahn. It looks like Cahn. And let's check it out. It's 12
Indeed.
real ghost stories you won't want to read at night. Well, we're going to read them at night, folks.
No.
I can't be held accountable for this. So if you have any trepidation about this whatsoever, we'll see you on Wednesday. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm not going to read the first little paragraphs of all the weird things that people say, but you want to start this one out, Sheldon?
Absolutely.
In his Paranormal Portal reading debut, ladies and gentlemen, Sheldon Thomas.
I know. Are we starting with The Little Hands?
Absolutely.
All right. I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen, writes Reddit user Patented Spacehook, recounting a true event. Other houses on her street had strange things going on too. A few homes away from her lived a family. One night, the daughter went to bed with a bad headache. The next day, she was dead. She passed away from an aneurysm. Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Wow.
After her funeral, the family went away to get their minds off the tragedy, and the father asked my uncle, my mom's brother, to check on their pets. My mom and dad, who were dating at the time, went with him. My mother had heard there was a grand piano, and she wanted to play it. My dad was studying to be a veterinarian. After entering the house, my uncle and my father headed to the basement to see the animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it when she felt something brush her ankles. She thought a cat must have been left in the basement and walked past her. She kept playing. And then she felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt hands clasp her legs tightly. She dashed to the basement door, called my uncle and father, and waited for them. Back outside, my uncle could tell my mom was rattled and asked what's wrong. She told him what had happened, and he turned white. He told her the daughter who had died used to play a game with her father. When he played the piano, she'd crawl underneath, grab his ankles, and push his feet up and down on the pedals. Wow.
That's
the end of that one. Wow.
Yeah, that's probably her then, right?
Yeah, I'd say that's proof enough.
See, that's the tough part. Is like I don't know how that was quite a while after the child had passed, though, right?
Yeah, I mean it's beautiful though too. You know, it's a sign. You know.
Yeah, I mean, but it was really recent. So. Here's the thing. This is the thing I'm thinking about. So again, excuse me. You'd like to think like when a child dies. I don't know. It sounds like this girl was pretty young.
Yeah.
When a child dies, yeah, again, my feeling is if there's anything right and just and good in this universe, then someone will bring the children home. You know, and it's hard to imagine a child just being left to wander. You know, that to me just seems like such a horrible, terrible thing. You know, and I can't imagine because, you know, being a father, especially, and seeing, you know, that children are vulnerable, and I just can't think why weren't these children brought home, and so that's the thing. But now there is a common belief that after passing, people will be lingering for a period of time, and it may vary depending upon the person, and some people may become earthbound at some point because of, you know, for whatever reason, whatever's holding them here keeps them here. But I think that most all people when they pass probably do seem to linger, and they may make appearances to people that they loved, or you know, spend time around those people, you know, to, I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe as a release, but then at that point to finally transition. So, you know, I'm just hoping that in this case, this little child was just in that period of that transition where, you know, they linger for a while and they're maybe guided with, you know, some loving presence with them as they, you know, say goodbye to the, you know, this situation and go on to whatever's next. I don't know. It's just one of those things. But I just can't imagine that something so genuinely innocent and pure would be left to wander. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I choose to believe that they're guided or pulled or whatever it may be to where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I suppose. I think that's probably true. At least I want to believe that. You know, I just don't like to think that these poor little angels are just wandering, going, what's going on? Wow, thank you, Cold Stairs. Paranormal Portal came to our house on Halloween night, so here's some candy for your trick and treat bag. Thank you for being here, guys. We love you. Well, we love you too, Cold Stairs. Thank you.
We love you too, Cold Stairs.
And Naysay, the megaphone man, happy 10th ember in the cycle around the sun. Just wait until a new moon on the 4th to cast your spells. Yeah, absolutely. Gotta wait for those new moons, brother.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Gigi.
Give Sheldon the clap for his reading debut. We should probably work. It's not, you know, it's that old, not what you said, it's how you said it.
Yes.
But thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Gigi. I appreciate that.
Android says, I like to think in most cases that children's spirits are residual or demonic entities imitating them. Yeah, me too. That's what's hard to believe, is that they've been left to just wander and become, you know, these confused beings. Question: do you think paranormal horrors will get into the new metaverse? do paranormal horrors will get into the new metaverse? I'm not really sure I understand what the context of that question is, brother. But I don't know. I guess I think that here's the thing. If I'm going to speak frankly with you guys, and I realize it's kind of stepping outside of my role as just a host, but I do have a lot of thoughts about things. But I think everything that's here is here for a purpose. It's here to bring us to understanding. And some things are hard to understand how they can be here, how they can be anywhere, because they seem so horrible and corrupt and wicked. I guess it will depend, if there is some transition of consciousness into a new form of reality. And I mean, not speaking of death and dying, but that, we as a global community will transition into a better or more vibrant state or something. Will there be horrible things there as well. And I guess it probably, because we still are existing, because we have to learn. I think that's, life is school. Life is preparing us to live in a divine state, and that's why we live. And so, again, I'm going way down a limb here. I don't usually talk like this during the shows, because I don't think it's the scope of the Paranormal Portal to have real big existential kind of discussions. But that's my belief, and for whatever that's worth to any of you out there. If I'm understanding your question, I guess, probably some of it will still need to remain, because we still aren't in a perfect state, right? So that's my 2 cents. So
Maggie came in with the $5, says,
Ooh.
Happy Halloween, Brent and Sheldon. Thanks for etc. time. Love you all. And we love you too, Maggie.
We love all of you guys, and special thank you to those of you that are able to do that. And again, the thing with the donations, it's absolutely amazing and wonderful, and it helps so much. But if you're not in a position to do that, there's so many ways to help. And I've certainly been in that position many times in my own life, where I couldn't do anything except make it to the next day or the next paycheck. So I just want you all to know there's many ways to help, and certainly one of which is just by being here and being part of the shows and the discussions and conversation. That really means the world, and it helps so much. And then by hitting likes, if you like the shows, if you're enjoying them, hit the like. That helps us a bunch.
Yes.
And also just talking to, if you know people that are into the paranormal, let them know about us, because that helps a bunch too. So there's lots of ways to help. But a thank you to all of you who, go out of your way to help support the show in whatever way you're able to, because it really means the world. So.
Yeah, I see 59 people watching, and yet I only see 40 likes. What's going on here, guys?
That's some of that Common Core math right there. That's Common Core. I don't know. Well, maybe they just aren't sure yet. Like I said last night, maybe they're just making up their mind.
Yeah, maybe they're just sitting there like, do I
show's
like
not
this
over
yet?
yet.
I don't know.
Show's not over yet. You don't cast your vote until you've seen the whole production. So
True.
well, hopefully it'll even out. But if not, then if you love the show, then like it. If you don't, then thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
All right.
At least.
So now we got another one here. This is the Phantom. Wait, where did I go? Yeah, Phantom Patients. Phantom Patient. The ambulance company that I used to work for had a haunted ambulance rig 12. Recounts Reddit.com user Zerbo. A lot of EMTs had stories about it, but I never put much stock in paranormal stuff. That is, until I had my own experience with Rig 12. My partner and I were working in a rural community at 3 a.m., and it was pitch dark and completely quiet. We were both dozing, and I was in the driver's seat, and she was in the passenger seat. I woke up to a muffled voice, but I thought my partner was talking, and I told her I was trying to sleep and closed my eyes. I distinctly heard a male voice say, "Oh my God, am I dying?" Followed by a few seconds of heavy breathing. My partner and I sat up straight and looked back into the patient compartment, where it sounded like the voice had come from. Things were quiet for a couple of seconds, and then we heard the click of an oxygen bottle regulator and a hiss, as if it was leaking. I turned on the lights and we ran out of the rig, and I thought a transient might have climbed in while we were asleep. As we opened the rear doors, no one was there. I checked the oxygen bottles. Neither was opened. We didn't sleep much after that.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you, Naysay. How dare you, the megaphone man, try to show me up. Oh, happy calendar date of Halloween. And to you too, sir. We appreciate it.
thank you. We love you too. Don't worry.
The many faces of Naysay. We love you, brother. Thank you, brother. It's good to see you, and happy Halloween to you and to all of you as well.
Happy Halloween.
You going to read the next one, Sheldon?
Absolutely. The Impish Ghost. My neighbor Dane and I had a playful poltergeist for years, and we called it Billy. So begins Reddit.com user Abyss Alibi. Alibi, I guess. In their real-life ghost story, I'd come home and find something put in a weird place. Milk in a cupboard, toilet paper in the fridge, laundry detergent in the bathtub. Dane once called to ask if Billy
Diane.
had been around.
Diane.
Because she couldn't... Sorry?
Diane.
Oh, what did I say?
Dane.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Dane once called to ask if Billy had been around because
Diane.
she...
Sorry.
Oh, man. I was doing so good.
You're still doing good. It's just Diane's. You got to say Diane.
Diane once called to ask if Billy had been around because she couldn't find a gallon of milk. We finally found it outside on her back steps.
Wow.
And sugar, darn sugar, every morning my sugar bowl was empty. When I'd had enough, I would point to Diane's home and yell, "Go see Diane." Within 5 minutes, I'd get a call from her. "Thanks a lot," she'd say. He'd gone and pulled shenanigans at her home. Shenanigans at her place. This occurred for the entire 2 years we lived there. No one believed us, not even our husbands. My mother thought someone was stealing from us when we were sleeping or out of the house. My sister believed something was going on, but didn't know what. I still can't explain any of it.
Wow.
Oh my
That's
God.
pretty freaky.
That name was just tripping me up. I don't know why. It doesn't even make sense.
It's so funny. I even corrected you, and then you're like, Dane once called to ask if Billy had been around. Like, Diane.
Oh, God. I don't even know.
I love you, my boy. Brilliant.
Yeah, you're right. It's Dawn's fault, Rachel. Yep.
Yeah. Dream says Sheldon has a mental block.
It definitely was.
For Dane and Diane. Yep. Little ditty about Dane and Diane.
Man.
All right, so let's go to the next one. This is the Eerie Attic. Okay. Before Reddit.com, let me just get to the story. A few years ago, I moved into a one-bedroom apartment in Melbourne, Australia. They went on to recall, I was my first time living on my own. The apartment block had been built in the 1930s, and I'd been there for a few months. When I came home from work one day and went into the bathroom, I saw something strange. A wooden board, which had covered a hole in the ceiling that led to a small attic space, lay fractured in two pieces on the ground. I examined the pieces. The board was an inch thick, and it would have taken Bruce Lee to break it. I thought the landlord had sent someone to work in the attic, and I was frozen stiff with fear. Someone is up there for sure, I thought. I emailed pictures to the landlord asking if anybody had been there, with an undertone of annoyance since she hadn't warned me. Her reply read, "Please call me as soon as you are able to." I called, and she explained that her last two tenants had said the same thing happened. She promised to replace the board, and she did. A month later, I woke up one night around 4 a.m. My body was covered in goosebumps. It felt like someone was rubbing his or her hands on me. Everything was silent, but then I heard a dragging sound coming from above my bed. It was as if someone was pulling a sack of potatoes. I froze, convinced someone was up there. There's no way an animal could make that sound. After 5 minutes, I worked up the courage to turn on the light, armed myself with a cricket bat, and walked to the bathroom. And that's when I saw that the new board covering the hole was broken in two. I felt sick. The dragging sound had stopped, but I heard something else whispering. The sound was clear and coming from the attic. It sounded like children's voices, and I could hear one sentence repeated over and over. "It's your turn. It's your turn." I switched on every light in the apartment to make things feel normal. It was 5 a.m. and dark outside. I watched TV to try to unwind. Then a fuse blew. My pet budgie, Dexter, whom I kept in the kitchen, usually never makes a sound at night, but he started squawking like he was being strangled. I'd never heard him make those sorts of noises. He was screaming. I grabbed my car keys, ran out, and sat in my car and waited there until the sun came up. When I saw people walking dogs, this comforted me enough to go back in. The front door was open, but I figured I might have forgotten to close it when I ran out. I went to the kitchen to check on Dexter, but he wasn't in his cage. I felt sick again. All my windows were closed, so I looked everywhere inside, and when I walked to the bathroom, I heard splashing. Dexter was half drowned in the toilet. I took him out, washed him, and dried him, and it was so confused. At 8 a.m., I called the landlord and gave her a watered-down version of the night. "Oh, wow, you heard the whispering too," she said. I stayed in that apartment for another 18 months. Wow, this person's got some tenacity. I heard the whispering on a few occasions, and twice the board covering the hole in the ceiling moved. Although I live elsewhere now, the landlord recently called me. She said that her new tenants had begged to speak with me about some of the stuff that's been going on there. Forget it. It's their problem now. It's like, nope. I'm noping out of that one. Thank you, Tracy Gale. That's very cool.
Yes.
So appreciate what you do. Well, we appreciate you guys too. We wouldn't be doing it without you guys. So thank you so much. That's amazing. You guys are awesome. And you, Sheldon, the next one.
All right. On to The Boy with No Eyes. One night when I was 10, I was woken up by my bedroom door opening, followed by someone sitting on my bed. Reddit user, yeah. I felt my leg grazed and in the bed sink another person's weight. It's just Mom, I thought, and opened my eyes. It was not my mom. I found an eyeless boy. He had black, empty socks, and about my age sitting at the foot of my bed.
Sockets.
Oh, God. Sockets.
Like eye sockets.
He extended his hand, and in it was a little box. I was startled, but reached out. He pulled back. I reached again and said, "Give it." Then I blinked, and when I reopened my eyes, he was gone. But I could still see the imprint where he had sat on my bed. Fast forward 5 years. My girlfriend came over to do homework. After she finished, she took a nap while she waited for her parents. When they arrived, I tried waking her up. She opened her eyes suddenly, looking up at a corner where the wall met at the ceiling. She pointed there and went back to sleep. I shook her again. She came to full consciousness, and I explained what she'd done. She looked haunted. Up on the wall, I saw a little boy with no eyes. He was there, in a Spider-Man pose staring at me. I freaked out and told her my story about the same kid. Fast forward another 5 years, I was with the same girlfriend, and we had a 2-year-old. We were living in my parents' house in my old room. My daughter started walking up at the same time every night, and she'd talk. After a while, I noticed she had almost the same conversation every night. I playfully asked her once whom she was talking to. She said, "It's a little boy. He's nice. He's lost and looking for his mommy." My daughter's nightly conversations continued until we got our own place later that year.
That's creepy.
That is very creepy. It's kind of reminds me of how, like, you know, people in the same household area experience the same thing, kind of like you, me, and Oliver have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is, yep. Very. The Red Lady of Huntingdon College. Okay. Here's a story that dates back to 1910, but almost any student at Huntingdon College of Montgomery, Alabama should recognize it. That's because the events that led up to it are said to have actually happened. As the story goes, in 1910, a young woman who was new to the school was known for her love of the color red. Sadly, she was also known for being strange and a loner. As the first term got underway, the young woman grew increasingly isolated, and eventually she took her life by slashing her wrists. Aww. Her body was discovered in a red gown drenched in blood. From then on, students of the faculty have been reporting sightings of a young woman dressed in all red. She's appeared all around the college's campus. The figure, dwelling in perpetual isolation, is often cited as a reminder of the importance of being kind to one's peers. Wow.
Huh.
That's pretty weird. I guess, it's good if your ghost stories have a moral to them, right?
Guess so. We have a few requests to say the number to call in.
720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500.
There we go. And now, the Ashley Street Ghost. Huntington College is just one of many haunted colleges in America. Oh, I see. Okay, I'll just start here. The haunting happened in 1972 at a party hosted by University of Michigan students living on Ashley Street. A 15-year-old girl who probably had no business being there in the first place suddenly felt a strange, bone-chilling cold, according to the Michigan Daily. In an attempt to warm up, she went upstairs because heat rises, we guess. That's when things really went awry. One of the walls of the house started moving, and a black shadow approached the girl. Meanwhile, downstairs, posters were spontaneously popping off the walls and falling into a growing pile on the floor. The girl wandered back downstairs, where she found herself saying these strange words. The drugs and addiction were my fault, and I accept responsibility for that. But I was not that way deep down inside. I want to apologize to everyone involved for what I have done. What made those words even stranger was that the girl did not do drugs, let alone have an addiction. Her words didn't seem all that strange to the students who lived in the house. Before they moved in, the house had been inhabited by a man with a very serious addiction. The reasons he'd no longer live there? He had died of a heroin overdose. Has the ghost of Ashley Street made any more appearances? That remains a mystery.
Wow. Excuse me.
Interesting.
This is a very long article, isn't it? I don't know if we're going to have a chance to finish all of it. What time is it now? Yeah, we got about 10 minutes. Okay, we can do a little bit more. I got to figure out.
Yeah.
This is the ghost of Frederick Jordan. This real-life ghost story concerns a man named Frederick Jordan who held one of the most lonely and desolate jobs in existence. Jordan was the lighthouse keeper at Penfield Reef Lighthouse and the coast of Fairfield, Connecticut. Or is it Connecticut? I don't know. Built in 1874, the lighthouse was primarily a way of warning ships of a treacherous hidden reef responsible for more than its fair share of harbor accidents. In 1916, Frederick Jordan was the head lighthouse keeper. Tragically, he drowned in a boating accident just before Christmas, 1916, when he was caught in a gale while rowing home to see his family. Ever since then, lighting and equipment malfunctions in the lighthouse have been blamed on Jordan's spiritual presence. But even more chilling is that the keepers of the Penfield Reef Lighthouse often find the lighthouse logbook open to the day Jordan died, and locals have recounted witnessing an unidentifiable figure appearing on the water to help stray boats find their way to safety near the reef. Oh, that's kind of cool. So at least he's still doing his job. You got to love that, right?
Yeah, he's still doing it. I guess.
If you're gonna have a ghost sticking around, they might as well make themselves useful. That's just what I'm saying.
Rachel was saying that the last story sounded like a possession or a walk-in.
It does. It sounds like at least a quick oppression. The person was possessed enough to say those words and to recount that part of it. So yeah, I would say that that's definitely a very temporary possession. Yep.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Indeed. So now, the ghost who came to play.
We got a call. Why don't we get to this call first?
Oh, good idea.
All right, so hold their thought on that one, and we'll get to this call and see just what's going on. I think I recognize this number. All right, area code 701. You're on the air.
Ooh, I am the ghost of a Native American that died of smallpox. Ooh.
Welcome.
And I have my land back. Ooh. I stubbed my ghost toe.
Ooh,
it hurt.
Oh.
Welcome.
Hello, my brother, my friend.
How you doing,
and
man?
Sheldon.
Hello.
Good to see you, Naysay. How you doing, brother?
So I'm doing as fantastic as the universe allows. And if I continue to claim that you are my brother from the same Mother Earth, would it be presumptuous of me to say Sheldon would be my nephew then?
No, I'd say that's right.
That sounds
Right with the
about right.
family tree.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
That works.
If that's okay. That means I got your back, Sheldon. You
I'm glad
need
to hear it,
anything of me,
Mason.
don't hesitate. Yeah, don't ever hesitate to reach out if you need me, little one. Young one. Young one, I'm here for you. So you want a scary story of, you've heard many, many, many of them, my brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I thought for Halloween, or the date of Halloween, depending on Canada's resolution or the Megaphone Man, they're both crazy from my perspective. So my youngest daughter, she is a October baby, the 10th ember of the year.
Oh.
And she had a birthday party. And I buy her balloons. Forgive me, Mother Earth, but they are biodegradable. And we buy a bunch of balloons that are on a weight. And so by the end of the day, all the balloons died and only one balloon was surviving. And so she cut it free of the weight. And it floated in the living room for a little bit. Then all of a sudden, it starts floating from the living room into the dining room. Now, there's a lower part of the ceiling that kind of gives you a different, kind of like your doorways, how they're lower than the ceiling. So there's a partition between the ceiling going into the dining room. So it goes under the partition into the dining room, takes a 90-degree turn, goes into the hallway, takes another 90-degree turn, and goes down all the way to the hallway, under the doorway again, into my room.
Wow.
And the girls are watching this, and they're like, "Oh my God, Dad!" And so they told me what happened, and they did it again. Brought it to the living room. It did it again. Brought it to the living room. It did it again. And then I said, "Draw a face on it." And so my daughter proceeded to draw a face on it.
Wow.
And then the balloon literally turned. So it was like the face of the balloon, and did the same path from the living room to the dining room, down the hallway, and it would stop in my room. And the face was turned the direction it was going the entire way.
Oh, wow. So even as it made turns, it turned its face as well, huh?
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh,
and we
yeah.
just were like, wow. But, I've shared before with you, I've never, well, I'm not going to say never. I don't want to taint, I don't want to press the issue or try to make any boast of ego or anything, but I put up wards. I do protection in my house. I burn sage. I put cedar around my portals going out of the home. And I don't know if you heard on Freaky Friday, if I can placate to my ego there, Freaky Friday on TFR, Freaky Friday with the Woo Crew. I am humbled to be part of that show. But we did a Ouija board in my home.
Oh, how'd that
and
go?
we put a camera. Well, I thought I was a little bummed out on it because I wanted the audience to direct their intent and move the Ouija board. But we didn't get any movement whatsoever. And we saged up first,
Sure.
as I always recommend, anytime that you're going to play with anything of divination, that you protect yourself. You say, a mantra, or you burn sage, and, we do sage and sweetgrass and cedar. And I look at things from a Native American perspective because I am Anishinaabe. And so, yeah, but we didn't get any bites. And I guess the audience wasn't able to permeate the connection of the YouTube and the Skype feed. But I do believe we have that power. Each of us have abilities. It's just like any skill that you go to have, it takes practice. It takes, focus and repetition. And I do believe that we all have these powers of divinity, whether they be runes or tarot cards or dowsing rods or the I Ching or, whatever, many different tools for there, and sometimes there's people that are so gifted they don't need tools.
Right.
And they can do it without tools. But tools do help to focus the intention, the direction of what you're doing. But if I may humbly ask, if you're going to do anything to manipulate the Holy Trinity of power, positive, neutral, and negative, I ask that you do it in positivity. Mm-hmm. And if you have the ability to mutate or transmute the negativity into positivity or minimally neutralize it, then by all means. However, if I may warn you, if you are going to be doing things of negativity or darkness, then please do not be in my way, because I will not stand for it, literally and metaphorically, even though I'm in a wheelchair. I may do something about it where I would minimally neutralize it, because it's too easy to find negativity in today's world.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit harder to find the positivity until you are the positivity. And Brent, thank you so much for being the positivity. Many, many years of our friendship. Mm-hmm. And I hope everybody has a spooktacular Halloween. But be a little careful on that new moon, because according to the ways of the old, the new moon actually was the precipice of this pivotal change, the in between the equinox and the winter solstice. Oh. So they were getting ready to prepare for the winter solstice, because you need to prepare, because that's when it's the darkest, and in the northern hemisphere it's the coldest. Mm-hmm. So bundle up, get your firewood, get that person you're gonna snuggle up with all winter, and stay warm and bright, and know you're all a delight in my darkness. And I'll let you get back to what you're doing oh so well. Love you all, chat room. Toodles.
Hey.
Gish, Biba Dizi, way we on.
Oh, thank you, brother. It's always great to hear from you. And by the way, I'm going to be trying to go outside a little later. It's supposed to be clear here, and check out the Northern Lights, which are supposed to be coming in a result of the great solar flare that happened a few days ago. They're supposed to be arriving now over North America. So lots of places should be able to see it. So I'll let you know if I was able to see them or not.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. All right, great additive there you have there with young Sheldon.
Oh, thank you.
Enjoy it quite well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nacy.
All right, we'll see you, brother.
All right, toodles.
Toodles. Very cool. That's good to hear from Nace. He hasn't called in for a long time. It's good to. I thought he forgot the number. Maybe that's why we had to give the number out. What's that? So I guess he did actually forget the number. I'm supposed to be on speed dial, Nace. What's up with that?
Yeah.
All right. So where are we at now? I got to look at the clock because we are about winding up to a close. Yeah, that's about it, I think, for the night. I hope you guys enjoyed this impromptu 2-hour show. We wanted to give you something special for Halloween. And, of course, this is the portal. This is our wheelhouse. All this spooky, paranormal strangeness. This is where we live. So hope you guys have enjoyed it. And certainly, please, if you enjoyed it, hit that like on the way out. And let somebody know. Feel free to share these streams to your social media. And remember, the new podcast will be coming out just a little bit here. So if you're a listener of our podcast, be watching for it. And if you're not a listener, please become one by checking out Pandora, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean. There's so many of them. God, there's just tons of them. And, you know, it's been fantastic. So we've had some incredible growth on the podcast, and a special thank you to all of you out here who have helped to perpetuate that. And once again, an incredibly happy Halloween to all you, and thank you all for making it an incredible Halloween for us. And Sheldon, anything in closing?
Absolutely. For anyone new here or not joined, we have our own Discord. So that means you can stay more in touch with us, ask us whatever question you'd like, and just talk with the chat in general and the community. Stay in touch. A lot of links in there, a lot of stuff to look at. Links in the chat.
There you have it, folks. And that's it for us. So thank you so much for joining us and being part of the festivities. Again, we'll be back on Wednesday night. Don should be here with me, and we'll be tearing up another 2 hours then. So hopefully you guys will come back again on the YouTube. If you're new to the YouTube shows, we do live shows here on YouTube every Wednesday through Sunday night. And then I take Monday and Tuesday off for other things. Try to keep the portal wheels rolling in a forward direction. But we really appreciate those of you that can make the shows when you can. And again, we'll be back Wednesday night. So until then, just know that we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. So good night, everybody. Did you salute? Are we saluting or waving? What are we doing? Okay.
I'm doing like
Spirit
magic hands.
Oh, you're doing spirit fingers. Spirit fingers.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.